On a stormy night in rural Kentucky, a young Christian man finds a woman passed out in the mud, on the verge of death. He performs mouth-to-mouth resuscitation and saves her life, unaware of who she truly is. When she awakens in his simple home, the truth comes to light. She is a millionaire CEO, lost, broken inside, suffocated by a life of luxury and emptiness. What begins as a rescue in the rain transforms into something much bigger, a journey of faith, redemption, and an impossible love between two completely opposite worlds. But when her past comes knocking, and the pressure of the corporate empire tries to tear her away from that new life, a choice must be made. You won't believe how this story of salvation, purpose, and new beginnings ends. So subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and comment on where you're watching from, and let's get to the story. The rain was falling heavily that Thursday night, that kind of heavy rain that makes you drive slowly and feel a little tense behind the wheel. Lucas gripped the steering wheel of his faded blue '98 Civic tightly as he returned from prayer meeting at the small community Baptist church in downtown Harrodsburg, Kentucky. He was 25 years old, with perpetually messy brown hair, clear eyes that conveyed genuine peace, and that simple demeanor of someone who knew every curve of that dirt road that cut through the fields. The wind shook the trees on both sides of the road, and the headlights barely managed to pierce the curtain of water falling from the sky. Lucas was praying softly, giving thanks for the night, asking for protection on the road, when something on the shoulder caught his attention. It was a dark, somewhat undefined shape there at the edge of the road. He slowed down, his heart already pounding. "Lord, what is that?" he murmured. When the headlights illuminated the scene more clearly, Lucas felt his blood run cold. It was a person, a woman, lying face down in the mud, completely still. He slammed on the brakes, pulled the car over to the side of the road, and jumped out running, not even caring about the rain that soaked his plaid shirt in seconds. Miss, can you hear me?" He knelt beside her, his heart racing. The woman was lying face down, her face turned to the side, her blonde hair stuck to the mud. Lucas carefully turned her over, supporting her head. She was young, probably his age, maybe a little younger, beautiful, even with her face covered in mud. But what startled Lucas most was realizing she was barely breathing. No. God, help me here. He put his ear close to her nose. Her breathing was very weak, almost non-existent. Without thinking twice, Lucas quickly wiped the mud from her mouth with his shirt sleeve, tilted her head back, pinched her nose closed with his fingers, and began performing mouth-to-mouth resuscitation. Once, twice, 3 times. Come on. He alternated between breathing heavily and gently pressing her chest. The rain continued to fall heavily, mingling with the cold sweat that ran down his face. Please, God, don't let her die. Don't let her. And then, after what seemed like an eternity but was perhaps 2 minutes, the woman coughed. A hoarse, painful cough, but one that brought air to her lungs. Her eyes opened slightly, confused, lost. Lucas almost cried with relief. Hey, calm down. You're okay now. I'll help you, okay?" She tried to say something, but only a weak moan came out. She was soaked, shivering with cold, and clearly couldn't stay there. Lucas didn't think twice. Carefully, he picked her up. She was light, lighter than he expected, and carried her to the car. He opened the back door, laid her on the seat, took off his own coat, and covered her trembling body. "Hang in there, okay? My house is nearby." Lucas got into the car, turned the heater on full blast, and sped off down the wet road. He lived alone in a simple wooden house about 10 minutes away, inherited from his grandfather. As he drove, he kept glancing in the rearview mirror. The woman was semi-conscious, breathing but clearly very unwell. When he got home, Lucas practically ran with her in his arms to the door. He opened it with difficulty, went inside, turned on the lights, and laid her on the living room sofa. He ran to the bathroom, grabbed clean towels, and began to carefully dry her face, removing the mud and leaf residue. Then he covered her with a thick blanket he took from the bedroom. She was beginning to come to. Her eyes opened slowly, still confused, and when they focused on Lucas, kneeling beside the sofa looking at her with genuine concern, she jumped. "Hey, calm down, calm down." Lucas raised his hands in a gesture of peace. "You're safe. I found you passed out on the road. You were almost out of breath, so I brought you to my house. I needed to get you out of the rain." The woman looked around, disoriented. It was a small, simple room. A bookshelf with books and a worn Bible, an old but clean sofa, a coffee table with signs of use, a wooden cross on the wall. Nothing luxurious, but everything arranged with care. She tried to sit down, but dizziness made her give up. Where am I?" Her voice came out hoarse and weak. "Harrodsburg, Kentucky, my home. My name is Lucas." He smiled in a calming way. "Do you want water? Hot coffee? I think you need something warm to warm you up inside." She nodded slightly. Lucas went to the kitchen and returned minutes later with a steaming mug of coffee and a glass of water. He helped her sit down, supporting her back with cushions. The woman held the mug with both trembling hands and took a sip. The warmth went down her throat and seemed to bring a little life back. "Thank you," she whispered. And then the tears began to fall. They weren't noisy tears, but silent ones, a mixture of relief and shame. "I could have died there." Lucas sat at the coffee table, keeping a respectful distance. But he didn't die. "God had other plans," he said simply. "Do you remember what happened?" The woman took a deep breath, wiped away her tears with the back of her hand, and slowly began to tell her story. Her voice was different now, firmer, but heavy with a weariness that went far beyond that night. I came to a party. Some friends, or at least I thought they were friends, invited me. They said it would be fun, that I needed to relax, get out of my routine a bit." She took another sip of her coffee. "I don't know anyone around here. I'm just passing through for work. But I accepted because I'm tired of always being alone." Lucas simply listened, without interrupting. "I drank too much, way more than I should have. I lost all sense of things. When I came to, they were all gone. They left me there at that party full of strangers in a city I don't know." Her voice trembled now. "I started walking. I don't even know where. I just know it was raining heavily, that I was cold, scared, feeling like the worst person in the world. And then, I don't remember anything else. I think I passed out." Lucas shook his head slowly, his gaze full of compassion. "I've been through that. Not exactly the same way, but I've lived that life of partying, drinking until I passed out, waking up without really knowing what happened." He looked into her eyes. "Before I knew Jesus, I was pretty lost, you know? I thought that's what enjoying life was all about. But deep down, it was just a huge emptiness that I tried to fill with anything." She stared at him, surprised by his honesty. "What has changed?" she asked softly. "God changed things." Lucas smiled. "It wasn't overnight, no. It was a process. But when I surrendered my life to him, when I understood that there's a greater purpose than just existing, man, everything made sense. The peace I'd been missing my whole life finally arrived." They were silent for a moment. The rain continued to beat against the roof, but inside there was a warmth that went beyond the temperature. It was something in the air, a feeling of security that the woman hadn't felt in a long time. "Do you have family here?" Lucas asked carefully. She shook her head. "No, I live in New York. I'm just here for work." She hesitated, and then something inside her seemed to give way. "My name is Emily Harper." Lucas smiled. "Nice to meet you, Emily. Make yourself at home. You can rest here tonight, use the bathroom, take a hot shower if you like. Tomorrow we'll figure out how you can get back to where you need to go." Emily looked at him, incredulous. You You don't even know me. Why are you doing this?" "Because it's the right thing to do," Lucas replied simply. "And because I know that if I were on that road, I would want someone to do the same." Emily accepted the hot shower. Lucas lent her a clean t-shirt and sweatpants that were way too big for her, but at least they were dry and smelled nice. When she came back from the bathroom, her hair still damp but clean, she looked like a different person. Younger, more fragile, more human. They sat down again in the living room. Lucas made toast with butter and more coffee. They talked until late. Emily spoke about the pressure of her job, about how her life was a constant race, about how sometimes she felt like she was living on autopilot. She hadn't yet mentioned what she actually did, but Lucas could tell it was something big, something important, from the way she spoke, from the corporate vocabulary that slipped out here and there. He, in turn, spoke about his simple life. He worked as a carpenter in a local carpentry shop, and also did some freelance work. He lived with little, but he lived well. He talked about the church, his friends, and the peace he found when he stopped looking for happiness in the wrong places. "You know what I think," Lucas said at one point, looking at her with that disarming sincerity. "I think we live in a generation that has everything, but has nothing. Everyone's connected, but everyone's alone. Everyone's busy, but nobody's fulfilled. And the drinking, the parties, the things we do to forget about life for a few hours, it only increases the emptiness, because the next day, life is still there, waiting, and we remain empty." Emily felt the words hit her hard. That was exactly it. Exactly. She had everything the world said would bring happiness, success, money, recognition. But when she woke up in the middle of the night in her Manhattan penthouse apartment, all she felt was a deafening silence and a loneliness that seemed to swallow her whole. "That's right," she murmured, more to herself than to him. "That's exactly it." They chatted until sleep began to weigh heavily on them. Lucas prepared the guest room, actually, his grandfather's old room, which he always kept tidy, and Emily finally lay down. For the first time in months, maybe years, she slept soundly. No medication, no anxiety, no waking up in the middle of the night with a heavy heart. The next morning, the sun streamed through the windows, and the smell of pancakes filled the house. Emily woke up disoriented for a second, but then remembered everything. She went downstairs to the kitchen and found Lucas preparing breakfast, softly whistling a gospel song. "Good morning," he smiled when he saw her. "I hope you slept well. I made pancakes. I'm no chef, but I guarantee they're edible." They had coffee together. The conversation flowed naturally, as if they had known each other for years. And it was then, between bites, that Emily decided to tell the truth. "Lucas, I need to tell you something." She put her fork down. "You've been so kind to me, so genuine. I feel like I can't keep putting this off." He looked at her, curious but without pressure. "My full name is Emily Harper. I'm the CEO of Harper Industries." She paused, observing his reaction. "It's one of the largest technology companies in the United States. I'm 30 years old. I started the company when I was 23. I grew too fast and, well, my life is the complete opposite of yours. Meetings, travel, decisions that affect thousands of people, lots of money, lots of pressure, lots of emptiness." Lucas processed the information for a few seconds and then gave a genuine smile. "Emily, it doesn't change anything. You can be a CEO or you can work at the corner diner. It makes no difference. Yesterday you were someone who needed help. Today you're someone sitting here having coffee with me. The rest is just the rest." She felt her eyes welling up with tears. No one had ever spoken to her like that before. Never. Everyone was impressed, bowed down, changed their demeanor when they found out who she was. But Lucas remained exactly the same. "How can you be like this?" she asked, her voice faltering. "So calm, so at peace with everything. Because I learned that what truly matters cannot be bought, cannot be earned through effort. It's a gift. It's grace. He leaned forward slightly. You know, Emily, money can alleviate many pains. It can solve many problems. But there's a pain that money can't reach. The pain of the soul. That emptiness you feel in your chest when you're alone. Only God can heal that. Only He. Emily was quiet for a long moment. Then she asked, almost in a whisper, "Do you think that I could go to your church? I'd like to see this place that has made such a difference in your life." Lucas's face lit up. "Of course, there's a service tomorrow morning. It would be an honor to take you." And so it was that, on that sunny Sunday, Emily Harper, a billionaire CEO accustomed to conference halls and gala dinners, walked into a small wooden church in rural Kentucky. It was simple. Worn pews and peeling paint here and there, a piano out of tune in the corner. But when the worship began, something inside her broke. People sang from the heart. It wasn't perfect, it wasn't professional, but it was real, authentic, full of faith. The pastor, a white-haired gentleman named John, preached about the Samaritan woman, about how Jesus offered living water to someone the world despised, about how no matter where you've been or what you've done, God always has a new beginning in store for you. When the service ended, Emily had tears streaming down her face. Lucas, sitting beside her, simply held her hand gently. He said nothing. He didn't need to. In the following weeks, Emily postponed her return to New York. She made excuses for work, delegated responsibilities, held remote meetings. But the truth is, she didn't want to leave. For the first time in her life, she had found something real. And the more time she spent with Lucas, the more she realized it wasn't just faith that kept her there. It was him. The way he looked at her. The way he made her laugh. The way he saw her as a person, not as a CEO. Lucas was also feeling something different. Emily was intelligent, funny, and possessed a depth he rarely saw in people. And despite her world being so different from his, when they were together, those differences simply disappeared. It was on a Wednesday afternoon, while they were walking through the fields near his house, that Lucas stopped and looked at her. "Can I be honest with you?" he asked. "Always," she replied. "I really like you, Emily. Much more than I expected. And I know we come from completely different worlds. I know you have a huge life in New York. I know all of this seems impossible, but I can't pretend I don't feel this way." Emily felt her heart race. "Me too, I'm feeling it too." She held his hand. "And you know what's even crazier? For the first time in my life, I don't want to go back. I don't want that life. I want this. I want this simplicity, this peace, this real life." "Are you sure?" Lucas asked, now serious. "Because it's not easy, Emily, giving up everything you've built." "I have." She interrupted him. "I'm absolutely sure. Because I've learned something these past few days. I built an empire, but I didn't build a life. And I'd rather have a small, real life, full of meaning, than an empty empire." They kissed there, under the open Kentucky sky, with the wind blowing gently and the birds singing all around. And in that moment, Emily knew she had finally found what she had been searching for her whole life. The following months were the most intense of Emily's life. She officially resigned from Harper Industries. The news exploded in the trade media. "Billionaire CEO abandons corporate empire," the headlines proclaimed. There was pressure, a lot of pressure. The board tried to convince her to stay. They offered her more money, more power, more of everything. But Emily had already learned that more didn't mean better. "I spent 10 years building a company," she said at the last board meeting, her voice firm and clear. "And I forgot to build a life. Now I'm going to do things differently. I'm going to build something that really matters." She sold her stocks, kept a reasonable but not exorbitant amount, and officially moved to rural Kentucky. The transition wasn't easy. There were moments of doubt, moments when she woke up in the middle of the night with a heavy heart, questioning whether she had made the right choice. But all it took was looking at Lucas sleeping beside her, or waking up and seeing the sun rising over the fields. or going to church and feeling that genuine peace. To know that yes, she had made the best choice of her life. Lucas and Emily got married in a simple ceremony at the Community Baptist Church. There was no lavish party, no VIP guest list. There was Pastor John conducting the ceremony. There were friends from the church singing. There was homemade cake made by the ladies of the prayer group. There was genuine joy. Emily entered wearing a simple white dress she bought at a store in Lexington. No designer label, no expensive label. And she was radiant, more beautiful than at any gala event she had ever attended. As they exchanged vows, Lucas held her hands and said, his voice breaking, "Emily, I promise to take care of you, honor you, love you every day of my life. God put you in my path that rainy night, and since then, my life has gained a new meaning. Thank you for choosing this life with me. Thank you for choosing me." Emily could barely speak, tears streaming down her face. "Lucas, you saved me that night. Not just physically, but in every way possible. You showed me what true love is, what genuine faith is, what it means to live with purpose. I promise to be your partner, your best friend, your companion on this journey, forever." The entire church applauded when they kissed, and Emily felt, for the first time in her life, that she was exactly where she was meant to be. They opened a small business together, a carpentry and craft shop that sold handmade furniture and decorative pieces. Lucas contributed his talent as a carpenter, Emily her experience in management and marketing. They didn't get rich, far from it, but they earned enough to live well, to help those in need, to contribute to the church, to have a peaceful and meaningful life. Emily discovered that she loved waking up early and having coffee with Lucas on the porch, watching the day dawn. She loved going to the local supermarket and chatting with people, knowing everyone by name. She loved Sundays at church, community lunches, prayer nights. She loved the simple life she had chosen. Of course, not everyone understood. Some old friends from New York thought she was crazy. "You threw everything away," they said. But Emily just smiled. "I didn't throw anything away. I finally found what was worth keeping." Some people from the corporate world tried to get her to come back. Tempting offers, promises that things would be different this time. But Emily refused them all politely and firmly. That chapter had closed. A new one had begun. A year after their wedding, on a winter night, Emily and Lucas were sitting on the sofa, the same sofa where she had woken up that first night, drinking hot chocolate and watching the snow fall outside. She rested her head on his shoulder and sighed contentedly. "Do you regret it?" Lucas asked softly. "What about?" She looked at him, genuinely confused. "Everything. Leaving his company, his life in New York, all that success." Emily smiled and took his hand. "Lucas, I didn't abandon my life. I found my life. All that was just existence. I existed, but I wasn't living. Now I live, truly, with purpose, with love, with faith. You saved me that rainy night, but not just from physical death. You saved me from a life that was dead inside." He kissed her on the forehead, his eyes welling up with tears. "God is amazing, isn't he? I never imagined that stormy night would change my life forever." "Our life," she corrected herself, smiling. "It changed our lives." Months later, Emily discovered she was pregnant. The news came one spring morning, and when she told Lucas, he picked her up and spun her around the room, laughing and crying at the same time. They knew, at that moment, that the story God was writing for them was only just beginning. Today, some years after that rainy night that changed everything, Lucas and Emily live in the same simple little wooden house. They have 2 children now, a girl and a boy, who run through the fields and fill the house with joy. The carpentry business has grown and become a reference in the region. But what matters most to them is not the business. It's the life they have built together. Every Thursday, Emily goes to the prayer group at church. Sometimes, when she's there, she remembers that night when Lucas was returning from the group and found her passed out on the road. She remembers the despair, the loneliness, the emptiness she felt. And then she looks around, sees the women praying together, sees the genuine community, sees faith being lived in a real and authentic way, and she gives thanks. She thanks God for allowing her to hit rock bottom that night, because it was there, in the mud, almost breathless, that her true life began. Lucas continues working with his hands, creating furniture that carries not only technique, but love in every detail. He remains that simple man of genuine faith who chose to stop his car on a stormy night because he believed that every life matters, that every rescue is worthwhile. And Emily, the former billionaire CEO whom the corporate world thought had gone mad, finally understood what it truly means to be rich. It's not about how much money you have in the bank. It's about waking up next to the people you love. It's about having a family that truly embraces you. It's about belonging to a community that knows and welcomes you. It's about having peace in your heart. It's about living with purpose. Sometimes, on quiet nights when the children are asleep and the house is still, Emily and Lucas sit on the porch and look at the stars. They don't talk much. They don't need to. They just hold hands, thank God for everything, and know with that deep certainty that only those who have lived can understand that they made the right choices. That true love doesn't come wrapped in luxury. That peace doesn't reside in skyscrapers. That a life worth living is simple, quiet, and full of meaning. And it all began on a rainy night, when a young Christian decided to stop his car, when he decided to kneel in the mud, when he decided to save a life. Little did he know that, in saving Emily, he was also saving his own life. Because God is like that. He brings together paths that should never cross. He writes stories that no screenwriter could invent. He transforms storms into new beginnings. He transforms falls into encounters. He transforms emptiness into fullness. And this, my friends, is a story that only God could write. You know, this story teaches us something profound. Sometimes, the greatest blessing in our lives comes disguised as a storm. Emily needed to fall into the mud to find her true wealth. Lucas needed to stop in the rain to discover the love of his life. And us. How many times is God trying to show us something new, but we insist on chasing after what shines, what impresses, what the world says is success? True life isn't in skyscrapers, it's in simple places, in gestures of love, in the faith that sustains us on difficult days. May this story touch your heart as it touched mine. If you felt something real here, leave a like, comment on what you thought, and subscribe to continue hearing stories like this. God bless you. Until next time.